Of all the incredible career revivals we've seen quarterbacks experience in the 2020s, Sam Darnold's has been the most impressive. Those of us who thought that Kevin O'Connell got the best version of Darnold that we would ever see have been proven wrong by Seahawks offensive coordinator Klint Kubiak. Kubiak's scheme, along with Darnold's evident work ethic, have yielded some awesome football in Seattle this year. Everything that this team does on offense revolves around the run, which seems counterintuitive because their run game is not good. In fact, it's painfully inefficient. The Seahawks have the second highest run rate in the league at just under 50%, but they rank second to last league-wide in both EPA per run play and yards per carry. Now this begs the question, why do they run the ball so often if it obviously doesn't work? And the answer is this run game, despite its inefficiency, sets up arguably the most efficient pass game in the league. Through 9 weeks, Sam Darnold is completing over 70% of his passes, he's averaging a league-leading 9.6 yards per pass attempt, and ranks second among qualifiers in EPA per dropback. Darnold owes a lot of his success this year to Kubiak's scheme. The Seahawks are so good at creating favorable defensive looks through heavy personnel packages and an unwavering commitment to the run. They deploy 2 receiver sets with either 12 or 21 personnel at a very high rate, and their passing efficiency, specifically from 12 personnel, is incredible. So far this year, Seattle has deployed 12 personnel on just under 30% of their offensive plays, about 7 percentage points above league average. And those plays have produced a league-high 53 expected points added. To put that number in context, the team with the second most EPA from 12 personnel is the Eagles at 33. Seattle's run game stinks, but because they run the ball so much from these heavy sets, defenses have to set up to play the run. Take a look at this play from back in Week 4 against Arizona. Seattle deploys 12 personnel, with 1 running back, 2 tight ends, and 2 receivers, which the defense matches with base personnel, 5 on the defensive line, 2 linebackers, and 4 defensive backs. The threat of the run prompts the defense to get into a single high safety shell, which essentially limits them to either cover 3 or cover 1. Here they called match cover 3, which puts Akeem Davis-Gaither, a linebacker, on A.J. Barner, a tight end. That is exactly the kind of matchup that Klint Kubiak is looking for when he gets into these heavy personnel packages. And it's the matchup that Sam Darnold exploits post-snap. Barner burns Davis-Gaither off the line, and Darnold hits him in stride for a 16-yard touchdown. There was no run action on the play I just showed you, but there didn't need to be. Because of the personnel package, the defense had to respect the threat of the run, and that made Sam Darnold's job easy. When the design does call for play action, Darnold is especially efficient. On play action passes so far this year, he's averaging a whopping 14 yards per attempt, even though he's completing only 68% of his passes. When Seattle goes with play action, they're taking shots down the field at a higher rate than any other team. Darnold's average depth of target of 14.5 yards on play action is not only the highest in the league, it's 3 full yards higher than Lamar Jackson's second highest average of 11.4. The play-action attack is so efficient that it makes up for the run game's lack of efficiency, and it makes the Seahawks extremely hard to defend when they're leading late in close games. Seattle has put the dagger in opposing defenses with play-action on 2 separate occasions this season. They did it in Week 2 against Pittsburgh with a kill shot to Jaxon Smith-Njigba on a post route with about 6 minutes left in regulation, and they did it again on this play in Week 6 against Jacksonville. Seattle is up 8, facing 1st and 10 from their own 27-yard line with just under 3 minutes left in regulation. And this is where Kubiak's stubborn commitment to the run pays off. Seattle deploys 12 personnel, and they call 2 plays in the huddle, the first of which is most likely a run, and the second is a play-action pass. If Darnold thinks that the defensive look favors a run, he calls for the snap and Zach Charbonnet gets the ball. If he thinks the defensive look favors a pass, he checks to play action. Pre-snap, Jacksonville initially shows a 2-high safety shell, but when Eric Saubert goes in motion, Jag safety Eric Murray rotates down into the box, leaving Andrew Wingard alone in the post. That prompts Darnold to change the play at the line. You can see it when he taps his helmet and the eligible receivers do the same to acknowledge the check. Now the concept looks like this. It calls for an out route from the number 1 on the strong side, a crossing route from the number 1 on the weak side, and a deep post from the tight end lined up in the number 3 spot. Look at how hard Andrew Wingard bites on this run fake from the post. A.J. Barner burns him over the top with ease, and Darnold finds him to put a 61-yard dagger in the defense. This scheme has made Darnold's job easier, there's no question about that. But there are layers to Seattle's passing efficiency that scheme can't account for. One of which is Sam Darnold's ability to create positive plays when the offense is out-schemed or out-executed. Here, for example, in Week 2 against Pittsburgh, Seattle is in a high-leverage situation. They're up 7, facing 3rd and 9 from their own 28-yard line, and they're late to break the huddle. Pittsburgh shows blitz with 6 defenders on the line of scrimmage, but Darnold doesn't have time to adequately set the protection or to change the play. The back and the tight end both stay in to protect, so Darnold has no hot read built into the concept, and Zach Charbonnet misses his assignment in protection. The play should be dead here. Darnold has nowhere to go with the ball, and Patrick Queen gets in free. But Darnold spins out to evade the pressure and finds A.J. Barner while rolling out to convert on 3rd and long late in a close game. Sam Darnold elevates this offense as least as much as the scheme elevates him. And there are 2 plays from back in Week 5 that illustrate this two-way street. The first of which is Darnold's second pass attempt of the game. Seattle deploys 12 personnel, which the defense matches with a base personnel cover 1 look with a post safety and man alignment across the board. Kubiak called his favorite counter to defensive looks like this, which is a simple double cross combination off of play action. Seattle keeps everybody in protection other than the 2 receivers, because as long as Darnold gets enough time for the concept to develop, the play is virtually unstoppable against single high coverages. Post-snap, the protection holds up, and Darnold has both JSN and Cooper Kupp open downfield. He throws an accurate ball to Kupp and is rewarded with a 24-yard gain. On a gotta-have-it 4th down with about 3 minutes left in that Week 5 game, Seattle went back to a variation of the same concept. This time they called it out of 11 personnel, but the defense still deployed a single high safety shell. The only reliable way to stop this concept from this defensive look is to get to the quarterback. And that's what Tampa does here. Hassan Reddick beats the tight end and the back, and Yaya Diaby beats the left tackle before the concept can develop, so Darnold is forced to improvise. He steps up to evade both rushers, then hits Torrey Horton on the low cross for a 21-yard touchdown. Another key to Darnold's ascendance this year is his favorite target, Jaxon Smith-Njigba. I've already covered JSN on the channel, so check that episode out if you're interested in seeing what makes him so great. But his impact on Sam Darnold and this offense goes far beyond his production. That impact was especially evident this past week when Seattle played Washington on Sunday night. Here, it's 3rd and 8, and Washington's man coverage call is revealed when Cody White goes in motion and is followed by Marshawn Lattimore. This man look is unique though, because there's an extra defender on the strong side, and his responsibility is to bracket JSN. This is straight up man double 11, which is a pretty rare call in this league, and it's an indication of the attention that defenses pay to JSN in their preparation for this Seahawks offense. Because JSN is doubled, Mike Sainristil has no safety help covering Torrey Horton on a rounded corner route, and he gets torched. Darnold drops it in the bucket, and Seattle scores a 25-yard touchdown on 3rd and long. On Darnold's very next pass attempt, Washington makes essentially the same call, even if it looks a little different. This time, it's cover 1 rat, but the post safety is cheating so far to JSN's side that he really isn't covering the post at all. And for good reason, because JSN puts Trey Amos on skates at the line of scrimmage. But because there's no safety in the post, Darnold can fire a laser to Elijah Arroyo over the middle for a 26-yard score. Now the question becomes, is this efficiency sustainable? As the season goes on, expect defenses to play Seattle a little bit differently, because the standard approach of matching personnel and committing to stopping the run evidently has not worked. Teams will probably play more nickel even when Seattle goes heavy, because their aerial attack is so much more threatening than their run game. Defenses will beg the Seahawks to beat them on the ground, which Kubiak will be willing to do, but not necessarily capable. At the same time, I think that this passing attack has proven that they can make it work even when defenses go lighter to favor the pass. Houston tried it in Week 7, but as you'll see, Kubiak did not flinch. Here, on the Seahawks' first drive of the game, Seattle goes with 12 personnel, but the defense stays in nickel. The Seahawks call duo, and Kenneth Walker gets 5 yards. On the following play, Seattle went even heavier with 13 personnel, but again, Houston matched with nickel. In an effort to compensate for the imbalance in weight, Houston stacks the box with a single high safety shell, and the second-level defenders bite hard on the run fake post-snap. That allows both A.J. Barner and Elijah Arroyo to get wide open on their vertical routes coming from the strong side. Darnold fires an accurate ball to Arroyo out wide and picks up 27 yards. Houston would go on to match 2 receiver sets with base personnel for the rest of the game. Sometimes when a unit is as schematically unique as this Seahawks offense is, one defense will figure out how to stop them and the rest of the NFL will catch on. I do think the teams will play Seattle differently down the stretch, but it'll take more than schematic adjustments to shut them down, especially now that they have a dynamic field stretcher out wide in Rashid Shaheed. This offense leans on its playmakers more than its scheme, and that is a formula for success in this league. Thank you guys so much for watching this week's video. If you enjoyed, please hit that subscribe button to help us get over that 50,000 mark. It's free, and it's a great way to help me continue making these videos. But that's all I've got for today. So until next time, take care.